What's going on there, fellow YouTubers? Chris back with you guys with another cool and interesting video. I think you guys are going to like this. Now, I'm just going to start off by saying this is pure speculation, and I'm going to show you why, and you'll understand why once we get into this. Because, again, I've always said there's no way to vet any of this, even though we may say, hey, this really does look like certain things. There's still no way to vet it, no matter what, right? All right, so this is a photo that was taken of, a satellite photo, in infrared, was taken of Gale Crater. And, of course, in the middle of Gale Crater is what? Mount Sharp. Okay, so we've got Curiosity right now that's going to be, oh, that's already there. And we've got the one that's going, guess what? We have another one in 2020 going to the same spot. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so we've got right here, and you got the SFI, which is a Space Flight Insider. And, of course, we got the Rover 2020, and it tells you all of the pieces and parts. You can see different countries that collaborated to put this thing together, and there's multiple countries, it's not just a few. But guess what? If you scroll down on this page, this is what it shows you. Primary region of interest, which is right here. Now, this is the face, and this is supposed to be right here, this imaging that they take. I'm going to show you this in a minute, because it's not on this particular page. But the rover at the moment, our regular rover, we'll say Rover Curiosity, is right around in a circle. The other one, 2020, is going to be here. It's going to be more precise. It's going to be able to guide its own way instead of being us trying to do it, because you're talking about anywhere between 5 and 20 minutes for a radio signal. So they want this thing to be smack dab, get it pretty darn close to their landing coordinates where they want it to land, right? So this area here in white was supposed to be like the dried up lake bed, if you will, okay? Now, what's funny about this, I've got one, and you guys can do this. Go to Google and put on their infrared photos of Mars. And this is what you're going to come up with. I believe it's this one here. This one right here is the actual infrared. This one here is at night. Now, let me show you what I mean by that, because I'm going to see if I can find this. I probably won't. Okay, so it's that one right there, but then you go to... Let's go into this one here. Okay, this picture here is going to change on me. Now watch. This is the one, it says Themis, which is your thermal imaging, emission imaging system, rather. This is nighttime now. I just flipped over to nighttime. Keep in mind, just keep these two little craters, well, not little, but keep an eye on those, right? The rover's right around here, landed well like this, and it's supposed to go right up inside this hill or this mountain, right? Now keep an eye on it, because this is going to change, where this is going to shift up here. This is the nighttime. What is this right here? Okay, again, the rover was right around here, traveled over to here, and it's supposed to be up here somewhere, right? This is where this thing's supposed to be looking. What I find interesting, if you look up infrared, or if you know anything about infrared, it's basically, it's basically if you have, like what they try to do is picture this at night. Why would you do it at night? Well, once the sun has settled and you have radiational cooling, you're going to have heat rising off the ground, anything that's there is going to happen. Now watch, you're going to see these craters, the rims are going to be like bright. See it right now? They're like really brightened up, like this one way over here. You'll see this one over here. It's going to be way down here in a minute. But you'll see that the actual wall of the crater is actually giving off heat, so therefore it has like a glow or a bright, like a highly contrasted, if you will, signature to it. And it makes sense. But what the hell is this? Suddenly pops out of nowhere. You can see this, and you don't see it in the other one. Nowhere do you see it. And you're going to see that right now. Watch. Keep an eye on this. Here is this area. Nothing. It's nothing there to be found. Now, keep in mind, infrared can literally see through dirt. And I don't mean like 45 feet of it, but I mean it can see just underneath, the surface of the ground. So if you take something really hot, like a piece of metal, heat it up with a torch or whatever it is that you can do, stick it underneath cold dirt, and this thermal imaging will actually see it through the dirt, right? So check this out. I'm looking at this now. Let me see here. Again, here it is. This is where Rover 2020 is going to be, and here is where our current Curiosity is. And, of course, that's the spot. Right around here, though, I want to show you something I think is interesting. Okay, let's jump over to Photoshop, because I can do this here. Okay, we'll do this in a second. Okay, let me jump over to Photoshop, because I want to show you this. This is pretty cool. Okay, let me drop me down here real quick. I can maybe move this over. And then move me back up here. Okay, so I'm looking at this, and now this, again, this is the infrared at night. It was taken at night. So you want to see heat signatures coming off whatever it may be. off the ground, right? Off of anything that's got a heated surface. What I find interesting is this right here. Check this out. It literally has straight lines. Something's going like this, something's going like this, here, and it's straight. And then you've got this piece sticking out, okay? And you've got what this area looks to be higher than this other section right behind it. Now, what I did was, I tried different ways to bring this out as best I could. But keep in mind, the exposure's been brought way up, or it's just a simple infrared picture, and that's it. I mean, in other words, it hasn't been doctored or anything like that. This is what you're seeing. It's highly reflective, or really bright because due to the actual thermal imaging. So let's do this. So what I try to do is bring down anything around it, and one like this just basically took my burn tool and just went around the whole thing. So anything that's darker, instead of having this color or this brightness bleeding off, I wanted to just go around the whole thing and see what we can find. To me, guys, now I could be wrong on this looks structural, okay? Check this out. Look at the way this thing has this weird shape. It has this corner right here, goes like this. Now, of course, these could be multiple structures or whatever, all lined up in a row. Is that the reason why they're really there? Again, Curiosity rover somewhere around here. It's about a mile, mile and a half, right to the very base, and I mean the very bottom. Now, I'm not talking about going up the hill. So it traveled, went like this, and it's supposed to be up in here somewhere. Funny enough, and I've been saying all along, this rover is here looking at structures. It stopped. They landed right where they wanted to be, right in the middle of a city. Can I back that? No, I can't. It's pure speculation. Why? Because I couldn't prove it if I wanted to. So that's why I always say it's pure speculation. Okay, and you can see one almost looks like some kind of weird other structures in here. If you look around, you just see like these different, the way these things are inside here, and it's not lit up, or I shouldn't say it's not brightened. And even if this is the actual wall of this crater, you would think if the sun's directly coming down, that would make sense. But keep in mind, this is nighttime. So unless it immediately turned dark and they decided to take the snap, which could be, this is the reason why the whole thing's now brightened up. Because think about it. If it was at an angle, let's say the sun's coming in from, I'm going to say the bottom of the photo, and it's very low on the horizon, well, you would think this area here all would be heated up or brightened up as opposed to the backside, and vice versa, no matter where the sun comes in, right? So I'm looking at that, I'm going, okay. And the same thing applies with this other one right here. Now, what I did, I was actually docking these up to try to find, and you can see where it looks really, really sloppy because you're trying to bring down the brightness of this. But instead, this is the reason why I said I went around and I did this. Let me show you. Instead, I didn't even bother to touch this. I just went around it real quick and didn't even try to bring the brightness down so we wouldn't get that kind of effect that looks like this here. So we could see the shape of this better. Keep something in mind. Picture being the Curiosity rover sitting right here looking at this mountain, which we always see in the background, right? To the right, you're going to see what I mean by this piece sticking out right here. Watch this. This is actually pretty funky. Now, I'm going to show you this here. Now, this is supposed to be, this is actually, I believe it is. I'm going to just double check. Yeah, this is PIA 19839. You guys can look that up. PIA 19839. Now, check this out. I've always said this, that, let me get this back out of this. I think it's at 200%. Let's back this way down to about 110. Okay. Check out the way these things are just laying in a row. And what I mean by in a row, it literally looks like these things are all in a row, right? Now watch this. Look at the way these things, even though they're going up a slope, look how straight these things appear to be. Now watch this. I'm going to bring it way in so you guys can see this. Check this out. Look at the way they kind of look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. The little mounds, supposed little mounds, all perfectly in a row, right? Now check these things out. Boom, 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 boom. Down like steps. And they're all perfect, even though they're up on a hill. Check this out. 1, 2, 3, 4. But what I'm going to show you is kind of like these little things that they're not paying attention to, and they're just kind of going over. Now, this right here, this area in the back, everybody said that's the city, because you can see this weird kind of block, if you will, right here in the back. See it? Looks like some kind of weird structure. Now, what I'm really focusing on is these actual mounds, if you will. Check this out. You'll see the lines in these things is crazy. All of these things are lined up, or just, now these are just kind of like just laying there, but watch this. Let's take a look down there. Check this out, the way these things, this one blows my mind. Okay? Let's zoom in a little bit. Check this out. Look at the line here. Literally looks like it goes down like this and goes over. Another rectangular like a top of a rectangular area, if you will. Another one, another one. There's lines inside these so-called buttes and hills and mounds. What the hell are they there for? It doesn't stop there. Check this out. Look at right here. We'll start over this area. Look at the way you get these weird lines and there's separations in them. See it? Now, also I want you to take a look at this because this is pretty funky. Every one of these, check this out. I've always said this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see the square opening. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. See that? And they're all kind of sloped in the front, coming down into the front of this. And they're all lined up closely together. This, to me, doesn't sound like something that can happen in nature. I understand a mountain. That makes sense to me. But these are all individual things. What if, and I've said this a long time ago, I believe these are all structures, all lined up in a row. Or something else. Whatever they may be. And that's what they're there for. Now, remember that little pot I was telling you about right here? Okay? Look at the way that thing is shaped. Okay. Check this out. This is it right here. I call this the big Twinkie because it looks like a Twinkie laying on the ground. That's the end piece. It's almost like all of the things are lined up and then you get this piece like these are all right here. Let me just back out here and show you this. They're all lined up and then this one sticks out on this, just kind of like sticks out from the rest of them at the very end. Well, imagine that. You're here looking to your right and this piece here is sticking out and all of these other pieces are laying there. Now you go, well, yes and no, kind of doesn't make any sense. Well, it does. If you really, really think about this, if you're literally looking at the mountain, right here, your eyes are facing here towards this big mountain or this hill, or the very end of it, and you look to your right, that's what you see. That's it right there. Here's a rover looking down at this supposed mound, or the end. I think this is a southeastern part of it. I could be wrong, but I believe this is a southeastern part as opposed to here, which is like more of the mountain. You can see where it comes down, and then all of a sudden. But if you look at these things, look at it carefully. Just look it up. It's, like I said, it's PIA, PIA, 19839 rather. And you can just see the way these things are lined up and stepped, like they step down, even though it's on a hill type thing. And they're all 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're all in rows. I'm sorry, I don't buy that. I don't think for a moment that these things are mounds. Picture these things all being like have a different roof, like whether it be flat top roof or whatever, and they're really not mounds at all. They're actually structures. And again, don't let this crap here fool you. This is not the distance. They're making it look like it's a huge distance away. It really isn't. And the reason why I say that is because when you look at the rover pictures, the ones with the actual rover in it, you can actually see the front of it or the wheels. You can literally, wheels are 20 inches. Okay, if I was 20 inches, that'd be almost up to my kneecap. I'm standing in front of the rover. Okay. I could literally almost walk over to this stuff, like not even just boom, 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 just walk over it and see all of this stuff. I think that's what the rover's doing, guys. The rover is literally looking at what's laying here. So, again, let's back out of this. And again, you get this end piece that these are all lined up. This one here is stuck over here. It's over to the side. All of these pieces here, all of these right in here, all of this, picture all of these being structures of some sort. And that's what this thing's looking at. And again, you're facing this. In fact, we can do this. Let's turn this around a little bit. I don't know if I can or not. But let's rotate this. Okay. Now, you're facing the mound right here. All of these, here's the rover. It's looking at every single one of these, and there's that piece sticking out. I lovingly call it the Twinkie. It's stinking. It's sticking right out right here. All of these, they look structural. And it has, like I said, look at this rectangular area. All of these pieces, these are straight. Look at that. Boom, straight. Yeah, I mean, look at this. Completely straight right there. Straight. Okay, let's do it this way. It'd be easier. Right here. All straight. Come on, guys. I'm looking at this thing and I'm going, what the... And again, it landed right here, goes about a mile and a half, goes along here, and it's been looking at all this junk all this time. All this time. And you can see this thing does not show up at all on the daytime infrared. Why is that? Well, again, we can look at it, look at the very right, and there's this piece sticking out, and you got all of these pieces. I don't think this is hills or mountains or anything at this point. I think it's, look at, here's all of this kind of weird layered rock, and it's right there in your face. You can literally stand on top of these rocks and you'd be like taller and tall. and you could just literally just take a walk. You'd probably be about from here to here, walk, and you literally walk across this stuff and see and just inspect this stuff. If you guys have been looking at the photos of my videos for a while, and with the rover in it, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. This thing is not the distance they're trying to make it out to be. And I think that's the reason why this rover landed where it landed. And I also believe this is the reason why the Curiosity 2, if you will, or the Curiosity 2020, I believe this is the reason why they're going back there. And they're saying the same thing. They're saying it's going to be the same spot again right there. And it makes sense to me. I would do the same if I was inspecting something. I want to show you guys something else, too. This is pretty wild. Or just at least read this to you, because this is cool. Now, I've said this in the past where I said, it makes sense to me. The first thing I'd put on the first two instruments I'd put on a, whether it be a lander, rover, whatever, would be what? Eyes and ears. So you've got cameras, which they have, and ears. And I've always said this. Check this out. This is funny. While microphones have been flown on previous missions to Mars, none have actually been used on the Martian surface. Okay. NASA's Mars Polar Lander carried the first microphone to Mars, but crashed into the surface of the planet in 1999. The second microphone flown to Mars in 2008 on board Phoenix was never turned on due to potential electrical problem. Wait a minute, come on. So you're telling me after all of this test cells they have and all of the testing they can do on these things, suddenly they were worried about an electrical problem? Come on. Again, it's just like common sense when you look at this. You just go, how is this possible? These guys check and double check everything, and they were afraid of an electrical problem for a microphone? Think about that a minute. How silly that sounds. If you understand how an amplifier can literally just be, a microphone can be put on there, it's so simple. It's like electronic ears. It's so simple to put together, and it can be like the size of your thumb, even if it was the size of your palm of your hand. Oh my God, how much problem could this thing cause? And it's going to be low powered. Whatever. It's like one BS thing after another. And again, you can see this area. And I'll give you the pages, guys. You guys can look these pages up and see this stuff for yourself. Again, these two craters. Rover was here. Now I got the two craters. The rover was right here. Traveled over to here. Now it's now looking at the mountain. And all of this stuff is sitting right in front of it. Guys, tell me what you think. What do you think is going on here? Again, they're doing this daytime infrared. You can see it up here. Mosaic of Gale crater, landing site of, and so on and so forth. And then, of course, you've got the nighttime. You see right now, nighttime infrared mosaic right there. And you can see, if it was sitting right there, it's looking at all of these things sitting right there in front of it. I think it was dropped right where they wanted it to be. But you guys give me your take. Tell me what you think, man. Tell me what you think is really going on here. There it is right there. And again, here, looking this way. And you can see what looks like all of these little shapes and stuff like that inside here. I think it's been dropped right in the middle of a city. Or what's left of whatever is some civilization. Excuse me. Can I say for sure that's what it is? No. Nope. But anyway, guys, give me your take on it. Let me know what you think is going on. Because, I just looked at this and I'm saying, wow, that's so crazy how they would do it makes sense they would do an infrared at night, just to see, But what are you looking for with an infrared at night? What are you looking for? Because clearly there's no light signatures, no headlights, no regular lights, whatever. So you're looking at anything that gives off a heat signature. Okay, and infrared can basically see through like a thin layer of sand. Are these things covered up purposely? Maybe that's the way they build their structures and we can see right through them. Or is it, I believe it's NASA covering all these things up. I could be wrong. I don't know. But whatever you see, you can see all of these things lined up. And then at the very end, what I call that Twinkie, that mound, that supposed butte, it just happens to stick out. How coincidental that they're all lined up. And then it's got that very end piece to the right when you look to the right. And there you go. You can see it right there on this infrared photo. Give me your take on it. Am I way off base? Am I pretty close? Am I spot on? Maybe I'm totally not thinking straight. Maybe you guys can tell me what you believe it is. Maybe you think it's something more than that. What's your take on what they're doing there? Maybe they're there for an entire different reason. I understand checking out for microbial life. Different might be ancient life forms, or whether it be microbial, whatever it may be. I get all that. But they're there for much more than that. And there's like I said, there's a sudden bum rush to keep going there now. Now Russia's going up there. You never heard a word about it after that. They went up there last year, I think near the end of last year. You don't hear a thing about it anymore. They're just there. Never heard the second word about it. We got India up there, us, we're up there. I mean, come on. Not to mention, these countries have a collaboration with building these rovers, and they're going to have more collaboration with the 2020 rover. So they're not being, they may be just kept in the dark because a lot of these are, they're all just like being sectioned off. In other words, okay, you team, you're going to build this spectrometer, or you're going to build these wheels, so on and so forth. So they only, it's kind of like what happened on the moon. They, a lot of these people that assembled these capsules and rockets and everything else, they had their own compartments. This is, this section here, this section here. They didn't know, a lot of times they knew what it was being built for, but you know what I'm saying? They all had their own little specialty they had to build, whether it be the inside instruments of the capsule, the exterior, the electronics. One was the transceivers, the VHF radios. You know what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is, what do you believe is going on, guys? Do you think it's I thought something was coming on here on the 2-meter radio. I was waiting for the ISS to kick in here, but I don't think it's anywhere near us. But so anyway, guys, give me your take. What do you think is going on? Do you have a different idea in your head, or what you think is going on? Why they there? Why actually they there? Why go back there to the same spot when you already got a rover there? Why go back to the same spot with the 2020 rover? I know it's going to have different instruments, which they are. It's going to be able to take samples and then put them into tubes and so on and so forth. Better cameras. Now it's going to have microphones. Of course, they claim it's not going to do anything on the surface so much, maybe just a little bit in here and there. I don't believe that for a minute. But you guys tell me, what do you really think is going on? I mean, just drop a comment down below. You guys know that. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and then hit that little bell right next to it where, you'll get notifications from my channel. Subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. If you're a newcomer and you're not familiar with the work, let me know what you guys think is going on Mars. It's nothing more than what they say. It's nothing more than just soil testing and stuff like that. See what happens. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Always appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video.